have a bonus edition of It's Still Real to Me. Welcome aboard here as we are just a couple of nights away from what I really think, Joey, is one of the most anticipated Royal Rumbles of all time. There's so much going on. There's a lot of doubt out there. There's possibilities for some really good shit to happen. And it's also the first WrestleMania season, which means it's the first Royal Rumble that Triple H is in charge of everything. So you kind of feel like, okay, when Triple H was booking SummerSlam, and that was the first big show that he was booking, you kind of knew he wanted to put a stamp on it. And I feel like he did right from the get-go when you had Damage Control debut. I was like, wow, I mean, we are off and running here. I feel like it's the same thing with the Royal Rumble heading into WrestleMania, where he's going to really want to put his stamp on things.
I couldn't agree more. I'm jacked up for this Royal Rumble. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, I don't know if like the winners of the Rumbles will be shocking to people, but I think things will happen in these Rumbles that are going to be shocking. Like, I think we're going to see some big surprises and big things are going to happen, which is what everyone wants from the Rumble. I don't know if that will necessarily like equal a surprise winner or something like that, which we'll talk about at the end. But I think, there's only 7 women. Like you keep saying, who wants to be in this thing? No one wants to be in
it. Wide open field. No one wants to be in it.
And like, as we're recording this, right, it's Wednesday night, right? So we still have SmackDown, but there's only 15 men and 7 women announced. So everything's wide open. So there's so much that could still happen.
So here's what we're going to do today. And look, this weekend, we're obviously going to do a Royal Rumble reaction show, but we wanted to make sure we did a show beforehand, which was dedicated straight up to the Royal Rumble. We didn't want to tape it on Saturday, which we normally do, because then it's old in the next 8 hours. So we wanted to give everybody a couple of days to really, sink their teeth into all this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over Raw 30, all right, which is a fun show. We'll go over that. Then we're going to do our top 5 Royal Rumble moments. We'll go over the Royal Rumble card, our predictions, and of course, you got Big Dirt, not Big Dirt. I do want to start off by asking you, have you ever been to a Royal Rumble?
No.
Have you ever been to? Okay, you've been to how many WrestleManias?
1.
Okay, that was WrestleMania 35 in New York, right?
Yeah, the last pre-COVID Rumble.
Right, where Becky won.
Yes, and Brock started the show, which was probably my favorite part.
Have you ever been to any of the other big fours? SummerSlam, Survivor Series?
Nope.
Okay,
so I've been to Extreme Rules, which was pretty cool. I think it was like Shield versus Wyatt's or something like that. I don't know. But I've been to a couple of smaller pay-per-views, but not any of the big 4.
I've been to Royal Rumble twice. I went in 1991, which was the 4th ever Royal Rumble. All right. And, that was the one that it had the infamous poster where it has a bunch of the stars. They're walking. It's the poster that's like the old movie, the 70s movie Warriors. Have you ever seen Warriors?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and that's what the poster was.
Right.
The gangs and iconic Royal Rumble poster. That was the one. And so it's 1991. I'm 10 years old. It's at Miami Arena. It's during the Gulf War. All right. So this is all the setup for WrestleMania 7, which is going to be Sergeant Slaughter, Iraqi turncoat against the American hero, Hulk Hogan. And I remember because back then you only had four pay-per-views. That's it. There were just the 4 main pay-per-views. And when the news came out, holy shit, Miami Arena is getting Royal Rumble. That was like the craziest thing. So my dad took me. We had pretty good seats. We're sitting a little bit off center in the lower level. And it is still to this day, I don't know if anything's going to top it. Hulk Hogan won the Royal Rumble for the 2nd year in a row. Okay. I don't know if anything's going, and this was before that set up a WrestleMania title match. Not that it mattered. Hulk Hogan was always going to headline WrestleMania.
Of course.
So, but that night was still, now this isn't one of my top Royal Rumble moments because I feel like we're going to confine that to the actual Royal Rumble match, right? Is that what we're doing for our top 5 Rumble moments? The actual Royal Rumble match, not some of that took place on the card. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this took place on the card that night, which still to this day is the most shocking moment I've ever been at for a WWE event. I'm 10 years old. You got to remember. And back then you didn't have heel champions. Okay.
Yeah.
From day number one, WrestleMania, Hulk Hogan's your champion. When Hulk, now granted, the title was vacated because the Andre the Giant stuff. Macho Man, who was a babyface, then won it at WrestleMania 4. There was no such thing as a heel WWF champion at that point. So Ultimate Warrior at this point is the champion. He's fighting Sergeant Slaughter. Macho King runs down, smashes the scepter on the head of Ultimate Warrior. Slaughter pins him 1, 2, 3. We have your first ever heel champion in the WWF era. And I'm there 10 years old.
Were you crying?
I mean, I wasn't crying, but I couldn't even believe it. how did this possibly happen? And it was the stunner of stunners that Sergeant Slaughter is now the champion. And the way that he beat Ultimate Warrior, I mean, Macho King really cracked that scepter on Warrior's head. He really did. And
he probably, you know what? He probably had lust in his eyes for Miss Elizabeth.
Well, Sherry was his girl at that point.
Oh, that's right.
It was sensational Queen Sherry, but that still to today is the most shocking WWF WWE moment I've ever been in attendance for. So I've been to that Royal Rumble, and then I went again in 2016 when it was in Orlando, which was just the second time ever that the WWE Championship was up for grabs in the Royal Rumble match. Roman Reigns was the number one entrant. He had to defend the belt in the Royal Rumble match.
Oh, right.
And Triple H won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
And we were sitting ringside for that one. We were in the second row. And that was, so I've been to 2 Royal Rumbles. So much fun.
Yeah, I don't have any shocking. I don't think any of the premium live event pay-per-views that I've been to had any overly shocking moments. I've been to some, I went to Raw 25, which was, wasn't the greatest, but it was still cool. When Stone Cold came out, I'd say probably the most shocking thing about the WrestleMania I went to was Brock. Was Heyman just coming out of nowhere and being like, we're getting this out of the way.
Yep.
And Brock opens the show and that was
Rollins kicked his ass.
Yeah. No.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rollins kicked his ass because he won the Royal Rumble that year. Seth Rollins.
Was that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah. So he challenged Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I've been to it twice. It's such a fun event. I would love to go in a stadium. Like it is now. It's always in a stadium now. Let's do a little Raw. Raw is 30 here. Raw is XXX. That's a fun name for it.
Was unbelievable. The marketing of this obviously they knew what they were doing, but it was amazing. It was
Raw
just
is
ridiculous.
XXX is a great
especially the
name.
VCR, even especially the VCR graphic that they kept running.
Yeah.
Literally a tape that says Raw XXX going into a VCR.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. So they opened the show, man. I don't know if this was always the plan to change it to the trial of Sami Zayn instead of, I guess they were going to do
well, since we're doing a more, a different version of Big Dirt, not Big Dirt, my understanding is that the Wild Samoans couldn't get there in time.
So they had to pivot.
And either Rikishi or Samu was sick.
Okay.
So they just didn't have enough people to do the original concept.
Well, I don't know
what what? I'm pretty freaking happy about it.
Yeah, I don't know what they had planned for the original concept, but I don't know how it couldn't have been better than what we got. All right. Because it was phenomenal. All of it was phenomenal. And just what a 180 in the character development between, with Jey Uso, where Solo is about to give him. He's about to give him the thumb. What do they call that move again? What's that called?
The Samoan Spike.
He's about to give him the Samoan Spike, and Sammy's just going to eat it, because, hey, and Jay saves him with his own video package. And I really wonder, look, they have professional writers. They got guys who've written movies, TV shows. They got professional writers in that room there. And I really just wonder how much of what they've been doing for the last few months was intended to one day be used for something like this, because so much of the little stuff that they're showing, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, all of that, the little nuances were just so perfect and so laid out.
Especially in Heyman's clips. Heyman's clips were who would have ever noticed that?
Right.
Him running away with the Drew, the first clip he showed was Drew McIntyre attacking them and Sammy running away.
Right.
I don't remember that.
All of that kind of stuff, was Was it planned that one day we're going to use it because we're going to put him on trial one day and we're going to have evidence and this is what we're going to use?
Well, kind of like I've been saying from the beginning, I think a lot of what's been done with the bloodline has been written by Heyman, and it wouldn't shock me if Heyman had an idea like this in his mind. It really wouldn't.
It was, look, it was so good. Everyone is so into it. It's so rare that you could have a non-wrestling segment run that long and have everyone just hanging on every word that all those guys are saying. Everyone was dead silent the whole time and just really into it.
But I will say this. Now, two things. One, Paul Heyman, I mean, people can make their arguments. They can say whatever they want. There's no one better ever at what he does. Like, even just addressing the Philly crowd and saying, you guys are saying 3 letters that are near and dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. But my tribal chief, ECW, is dead, and I hope Sami Zayn is dead too.
That was so over the top. That's a little bit aggressive, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hoping he dies?
It was crazy. On, man. But I will say, after that, when he started like speaking like a lawyer and showing the clips, there was a moment there where I was like, this is a little Vince-ish. Really? Like, this is starting to look a little cheesy. But then when Jay saved him from the Samoan spike, I was like, okay, now we got something.
Yeah.
And then Jay's promo, Sammy looks like he's going to cry. Jay looks like he's getting emotional. Roman's in shock. The drama of the second half of it made me appreciate the first half. Mm-hmm. Like, if it was just like Heyman's part, as great as Heyman is, it started to seem a little cheesy with like the Law and Order graphic, Exhibit A, this and that. I was like, where are we going here? But then as soon as Jay stopped Solo, I was like, whoa, man, this segment is incredible.
So it ends, the whole night like he's got to prove it to me tonight, and then I don't want to see him until the Rumble on Saturday.
He has to pass his final test at the Rumble.
Right. I mean, if we weren't excited enough about this Saturday night, like, what's the final test going to be?
No idea. No idea.
What's the final test going to be? It's going to be
good. I don't know, because first of all, you got to think like the final test is making sure he beats Kevin Owens is my thought, but also I'm assuming Sammy's going to be in the Rumble too. So maybe does that have to do with the final test?
Oh, I can't wait. Man. I can't wait.
I mean, how do you start off? And even better is it's Raw 30. So this is where also I see the differences between Triple H and Vince. It's Raw 30, and of course they opened the show with Hogan, and his mic wasn't working, which is hilarious.
I hate that he comes out with Jimmy Hart. I know that's his guy, but Jimmy Hart was never associated with Hogan in WWF. Yeah. He was never with him.
But I think what we see, like the difference with Triple H is like they could have done like a whole like Raw 30th anniversary segment to start the show, but he knew like this bloodline segment, this is it. This is going to get the people going. Yeah. Like, we got to start with this, because they could have done they could have done the Bray Wyatt Undertaker LA Knight thing, which we're going to get to, but like the bloodline thing was just, and then by the way, the match right after,
awesome,
unbelievable.
I was holding my breath for a couple of those false finishes. I'm like,
same.
Totally look, you go into the match. All right, there's no way the Usos are ever going to lose these titles on free TV. But throughout that match, I'm like, I thought they may have had them,
Yeah, well, especially when Jimmy got hurt and then Sammy takes over, then the false finishes were like, whoa.
Well, so how about that? So the referee throws up the X.
I saw, but I could just tell that the camera was so intentionally on that moment that it felt fake, right?
Yeah. But you heard the crowd, right?
Yeah, the crowd reacted.
When the referee threw up the X, goes, oh.
Yeah. No, it's smart, man. It's they know what we think we know.
Everyone got so sad that he was hurt.
Like, they know the people who run this industry, who write these shows every week, they know that we think we know.
It was a good little
what's
swerve.
Happening.
It was a good little swerve. Yeah. So it was really well done.
And the match was awesome. I mean, it was a great match. Sammy passes the test for the night by helping them retain, and now we see what happens.
So Bayley versus Becky is a no contest. Was that because the opening segment went too long? They scrapped
Yeah,
it?
I from what I've seen, people are saying it got cut.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
But can I tell you something?
There's no way you construct the steel cage with that being the intention.
No, but I gotta also say that kind of makes me feel like that's where they value this feud and this storyline right now.
Or
because
there
were other things on the show that weren't.
No, but you know what? Or they felt this is Royal Rumble worthy. We could just move it to Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but they're going to be in the Rumble, aren't they?
They've been announced.
They haven't. We'll talk about that.
But, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can have a regular match and then be in the Royal Rumble. I don't think you could have a steel cage match and then be in the Royal Rumble.
I'll tell you this. If they have a steel cage match and then we see Becky enter, Becky's winning it. Like if they have her enter after a steel cage match, there's something, she's not just like showing up after going through a cage match to lose.
Those women had to be so upset. They're told right before, hey, I know you've been looking forward all week. You guys are going to be a steel cage match, but we're cutting it.
So. Well, because here's my thing. What kind of stunk is that Ric Flair I know Ric Flair probably wanted to do something with his daughter, right? He wants to introduce Charlotte or something like that. There's so many things you could do with Ric Flair, and the Bianca Sonya Deville match essentially was sort of shoehorned in there to have to get Ric Flair on the show so he could introduce Charlotte, and then Bianca could come out, and then Bianca fight.
So maybe that wasn't the reason. But
I'm just saying, no, I think they couldn't scrap that segment, because if you scrap that segment, then you're scrapping Ric Flair, and you're not going to scrap Ric Flair.
You didn't have to have. I love Sonya Deville. You didn't have to have Bianca and Sonya. You didn't.
Exactly, but that's my thing. But then what's the point of the Flair bring Charlotte out, and then what? Like, I think they needed a payoff for that segment, and Becky and Bayley, like, there was no legend involved. There was no tribal chief. Like, it seemed the most cuttable, because everything else.
You need to have the DX segment, but did you have to have Imperium versus Street Profits? Not necessary. Not necessary.
Nope. No, or give them less time or something. I don't know.
And by the way,
I'm sick of Street Profits. I don't need Street Profits ever. Break them up already.
Oh wow.
Break them up.
Listen to you.
I don't. Wow. I'm over
you want
it.
Something new. You're looking for.
They're not doing
new.
Anything. They're doing nothing.
It up. All right.
Angelo Dawkins. We've talked about the evolution of Angelo Dawkins. He looks great.
Like, how would you feel though? How would you feel though? Maybe. Hey, what if they're going to be new members of Hurt Business? How do you feel about that? How would you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if one of them
That'd be kind of cool.
If one of them was. If one turned on the other.
I think
Montez Ford is too corny to be a heel. So we needed it to be Angelo Dawkins. It's Angelo Dawkins. I think I could see Angelo Dawkins being a badass. Montez Ford, similar to his wife, they're just a little too face-ish to be heels.
DX segment was fun. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it or not. The stuff they did with Kurt Angle was fun.
That saved it, I think, right?
Yeah, and also them backing down to Imperium, all of them making quips about how I'm too old. I'm not getting involved in this.
I'm retired.
I thought that stuff was cool. And then, of course, Triple H calling Road Dogg Butterbean.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He's huge. He is. Yeah. He's gotten big, man. But, yeah, that was...
X-Pac looks great. Triple H obviously looks amazing. X-Pac looks great.
Yeah. The Kurt Angle, like, when he came out, I was like, what is happening here? This is very strange. And then as soon as I heard Corey Graves on commentary go, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? I'm like, oh, okay, it's part of the bit. Like there's something happening. Because I was like, why is he with them? And it was very much to Angle's character, just like wander, like, I just want to be part of you guys.
Let's get to the main event here because I want to get to the Rumble.
Oh, we skipped.
LA Knight and
LA
Bray
Knight, Taker, and Bray.
I got to issue, like everyone was fawning over the Undertaker Bray Wyatt thing. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. They fought at WrestleMania. It's not like they've never been in the ring together. Oh my God. They fought at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And also, like, what did he say?
Yeah. Well, okay. That part's interesting, but oh my God, Bray and Undertaker are in the ring together. They fought at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't know about you. I was freaking out that LA Knight got the rub. LA Knight gets Undertaker. Like, I love him. Undertaker's not just going to come out and let anybody on the roster talk shit to him.
Yeah.
This, to me, is a sign that they know what they got in LA. I hope
so.
Like, they know what they got.
Because we know he's losing badly this weekend. So I hope so.
But he's so damn good. Even the stuff he said to Taker, he's so good. And as soon as I heard Undertaker's music hit. That's the hardest I popped for the
Oh, but
entire
dude,
show.
how about how the crowd died when the American Badass music came on?
What's that?
How about when the crowd died when the American
Oh yeah, they're
Badass
like,
music came on?
oh yeah.
They died, like it was cool.
But
It's Undertaker, but they died.
I would love to know what the thought process is behind him being American Badass for this specific thing.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. Is it something where like Bray's character changed and people aren't really sure about Bray? So
It might be that the Undertaker's
Taker's
done.
message is like you can change and still like continue to.
It
I
may
don't know.
be that the Undertaker is just done. Like he does the one dead man show now. He shows a little bit. He's shown you behind the mask. Maybe it's done.
Maybe also like they didn't have time for a 15-minute entrance, so they needed him to come down on a motorcycle.
Yeah, maybe. The final match was good. They've done a tremendous job making Theory like a legitimate champion. Were you stunned with Lesnar?
No, I actually texted. I was texting with my brother, and I mentioned Brock, and I was like, he's either coming back at Rumble or he's coming back right now. And then he did because he was rumored for the show. Okay. And he hadn't been on the show yet. Lashley makes sense. So I was like, he's either going to come back like we talked about at Rumble to set up the.
They're going to eliminate each other. They're going to eliminate each other at the Rumble somehow, right?
So my thought process is, yes, they will continue their feud at the Rumble, but also they're going to set up something with him and Gunther for long-term for WrestleMania.
Not a three-way, maybe?
No, I think it'll be Lashley, Lesnar at Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, that's just, I don't know. But it was fine.
Fun show.
Awesome show. I thought the first hour was one of the best hours of Raw in a long time.
And also commercial free. You love the commercial. I didn't know it was commercial free in like 45 minutes. I was saying, has it been a commercial yet?
Yeah, I saw them. They tweeted it earlier in the day, but I forgot about it. And then I did the same thing 20 minutes in. I'm like, wait, how's this still going on? No picture-in-picture or anything.
Yeah. Let's do top 5 Royal Rumble moments here. You want to go first?
Sure. I'll go first.
Let's do it, man. Right. Top 5.
Number 5 is a cop-out because I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to take off my list, so it's a tie at 5. I got Asuka winning the first ever Women's Royal Rumble and AJ Styles' debut in 2016.
Yeah, I was there for that. That was fun.
I thought that was like a turning point for the industry. Like there was a lot of indie guys that went to NXT.
Yeah.
But not a lot of indie guys just jumped onto the roster and kept their name.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a shift. Like, okay, they're really recognizing things are changing. Number 4, Shawn Michaels, 1995, enters number 1, wins, goes the distance and wins the Rumble.
Throws out Bulldog, right?
Yes. Gets thrown over. They start playing Bulldog's music, but only one foot touched. So he wasn't eliminated, comes back in, eliminates Bulldog. Number 3, Cena returns in 2008, number 30, wins the Rumble, but mainly because I still to this day don't think I've heard a pop ever.
It's a really fun moment
in wrestling than bigger than when he came back.
Really fun moment. Yeah.
Number 2 for me.
Could have had it for Cody Rhodes. They blew it.
Yeah. For me, or number 2, Austin enters at number 5, cleans house, sitting on the turnbuckle. Who's next? Just beating the crap out of everybody.
Was it that early in the match?
He came in at number 5.
Wow.
Came in at number 5, wins the Rumble. And number 1, obviously because of the match and the circumstances and the win, but more so for the promo afterwards. Ric Flair, 1992, wins the Royal Rumble, cuts one of the most iconic promos in the history of professional wrestling afterwards with a tear in my eye. This is the happiest day of my life. That's number 1 for me.
That's good stuff, man. I got number 5. Number 5, Steve Austin winning it at 97. Yes, you got him shocked when Bret Hart comes out, but the climax there was he gets thrown out. The referees don't see it. Right. He slides back in underneath. He throws Bret out to win it. That shit was awesome. I loved it. So all right. That's number 5 for me. Number 4, 1999. Vince McMahon wins the Royal Rumble. Vince and Steve Austin were numbers 1 and 2. All right. So Austin's kicking the shit out of him. Eventually, both of them are taken out from under the rope. So they both get to sit out for a very long time. the climax in the end. They're both in there in the end, and Vince throws Austin and whoever else he was tangled up with over the rope in a total shocker that Vince wins the Rumble. That's number 4 for me. Number 3, Becky Lynch wins in 2019. I love it so much because she wasn't supposed to be in it. She lost to Asuka earlier in the night, and then Lana is hurt and cannot walk down the aisle. So Becky comes out and begs Fit Finlay, give me her spot. And the crowd.
That was the only thing. Everything else about that moment, I liked that she came out and won. That part of it, though, always was like.
Fit Finlay's in charge, man.
But she just gets to come out and ask, and she gets to be in. Okay.
Yes, and
She's the
crowd is egging her on and egging her on. And she wins the Rumble, which we were all hoping for because we wanted it to lead to her beating Ronda. And of course it did. So number 3, Becky Lynch winning in 19. For me, number 2, and I just watched it over again last night because it's that good. Drew McIntyre winning the Rumble in 2020. And not just Drew McIntyre winning the Rumble in 2020, but one of my all-time favorite pops is when Brock Lesnar is steamrolling through the first 15 competitors because he came in at number 1, even though he was the champion. And then McIntyre comes out. McIntyre was a heel. But because of the scenario set up here, and the crowd's getting antsy, and they're getting annoyed that Brock is eliminating everybody, Drew McIntyre entered to a big eruption. Oh, maybe this guy could do something about it. Ricochet with the low blow.
Yep.
McIntyre with the kick to the face. And Brock sells it like you've never seen a move sold before. Right over the top rope.
He doesn't get enough credit for
by the way. He's magical. And the crowd goes ape shit. And in that moment, Drew McIntyre turned from a heel to a babyface. In that moment right there, he would go on to win the title over Brock Lesnar in the Performance Center at WrestleMania 36. That's number 2. Number 1, Ric Flair, 1992.
Can't beat it.
Eliminates Hogan after, Sid eliminates Hogan.
Right.
It's every man for himself, big boy. And then Hogan grabs Sid's arm. Ric Flair tosses him out. And Ric Flair survives from number 3.
Heenan on commentary, losing it.
Great night from Bobby Heenan. It's not fair to Flair. The entire night, it's not fair to Flair. And of course,
I told you. I knew he was going to do it. I told you.
And of course, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life. That's number 1. That's the greatest ever. So
here's the thing: that promo, like if that last moment, the last like 10 minutes of that Rumble and that promo, if someone like if they don't like, why do you like wrestling? Just show them that.
It's the greatest ever.
If you watch that and you're not captivated, you don't have a pulse. It was so damn good. It's not even just the best moment of Rumble history. It's one of the best moments in wrestling history. Mm-hmm.
And it was so good because the whole build up to it was that he's the real world's champion. And then he wins this belt and he holds it up. If you're anybody in this business, this is the belt that you have. Which, of course, major shot at WCW because he was on very bad terms with them. It's why he had left. But there you go. So, yeah, that's the top 5. That's the best right there. So we got to do Big Dirt, not Big Dirt. But we also got to get my man Victor in here with corrections from last week's show. All right. Want to do that here? So my man Victor here, he's a great listener.
This makes me nervous. Excuse me, a little bit of anxiety every time.
And he checks up on us and gives us corrections, all right, from the previous week. So here we go. We were asking about Tamina, whether or not she's actually a part of the bloodline.
Thanks, Victor. Good. Yeah.
He tells us Tamina is Rock's cousin. And he says, remember, he bought her a house and a car about a year ago. Okay, there you go.
Now I remember.
I'm not sure I knew that. All right.
Hey, good. All right. Good work, Tamina.
He also wanted to point out that this past week, this past week, that the Viking Raiders also had, or I guess it was on SmackDown, they also had Them Boys armbands on as a tribute to Jay Briscoe. Cool. All right. He also says here, Cody at one point tweeted out just the number 3 right before it was announced that he was going to the Rumble. What do you think that means?
He's been doing that because he did that before Raw on Monday. He tweeted the number 4. And it was like the 4th, like final installment, I think, of his little series. Okay. I think. because he did tweet out the number 4, and everyone's like, "What does this mean?" So it looks like it's something he's been doing.
All right. Well, you were wondering about Doink the Clown. Is he still alive? Matt Osborne is Doink the Clown, the original. He died of an overdose in 2013.
Okay, I thought so. I wasn't positive.
He says, however, guess who also played Doink the Clown? Steve Lombardi. Who's that? The Brooklyn Brawler.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
And he was Doink in 2016. So Victor can see where your confusion would have come from there.
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say he's also dead.
He also wants to give a correction that he has been to many NXT shows, most of them the house shows. He can't make all of the Tuesday shows because he actually lives in Gainesville, which is a couple hours away. But he says here, I also agree some of these gimmicks are not going to work on the main roster, and he also hates the D'Angelo Don thing.
I mean, I don't mind it I don't mind it sometimes. It's going to fail if they try to do it on the main roster. It's going to.
And finally,
Victor, you go watch the Level Up tapings, Victor, because there's a show called Level Up. I didn't even know that.
And finally, here we were wondering because you were saying, hey, maybe Braun Breaker will be in the Royal Rumble, and you were wondering
about champions, right?
Yeah, has the NXT champion ever been in the Royal Rumble? He says in 2018, Andrade Cien Almas entered at number 7 as the NXT champion and lasted over 29 minutes. He was eliminated by Kofi Kingston.
I remember that
he only eliminated Kofi Kingston, was eliminated by Randy Orton.
But I think he was in the. I'll get a correction next week. I think he made it to like the top, like final 4 or 5 in that.
And then in 2019, Pete Dunne, who we now know as Butch, was the NXT champion. Almost 700 days it ended up going.
NXT UK.
Yes, NXT UK. Which by the way, my all-time favorite NXT match is Walter beating Pete Dunne for the NXT UK title. It's my favorite match.
I mean, it's a shame that program is gone or whatever you want to call it, because like some of the best stuff came. I mean,
Pete Dunne entered at number 18.
Big Strong Boy. The Big Strong Boy was in NXT UK.
He lasted for 11 minutes. He did not eliminate anyone. He was eliminated by Drew McIntyre. So there you go. 2 previous NXT champions have been in the Royal Rumble. And there you have it.
Can I tell you, I think I like Butch better than Pete Dunne.
I don't like Butch better than Pete Dunne, but that doesn't mean that I don't like Butch, because I like Butch a lot. But
I think it's grown on me so much that I like Butch better than Pete Dunne. I don't know. I think also it's partially because he's not always wearing that weird singlet that he used to wear, because that was a little awkward. I think like coming out sometimes in like the Brawlin' Brutes gimmick with like the suspenders and stuff. Maybe that's what it is. I'm big into the aesthetic, you know.
I feel, isn't he back to wearing it? Isn't he wearing it?
I think when he wrestles.
Yeah, when he wrestles.
But like when he was Pete Dunne, he was always wearing it.
Yeah.
Like, and he had like a weird fur coat thing.
Yeah,
or
that's like, right. I like that, man. I like that. Anyway. All right, so before we get to Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt, obviously I got to remind everybody, everything Zaslow Show 2.0 is always brought to us by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, title sponsor for everything Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me. If you got an injury, if you've been in an accident, you call Anidjar and Levine. You first call 911, then you get an attorney on the phone right away. You call Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. Joey, let's get to some Big Dirt, not Big Dirt, and we're going to mix in our Royal Rumble, our official predictions for the card. Take it away.
Yep, so we're doing a little bit of a unique Big Dirt, not Big Dirt this week. It's not actually headlines, but obviously if you're on the dirt sheets, if you're on Twitter, you see maybe this guy's going to be in the Rumble. Maybe that guy's going to be in the Rumble. We got 15 spots, like we said, open in the men's. We got 23 in the women's. So I'm going to name, I got a long list of men, a shorter list of women that could potentially, who knows? We don't know where they're at right now. So maybe they'll be in the Rumble. And I'm going to see if you think it's Big Dirt or Big Dirt, if they Big Dirt or not Big Dirt, if they show up. All right.
All right. Yep.
So let's start with the legends that have been rumored for multiple different things. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, come on. That'd be amazing. I don't believe he will
in the
be
Rumble
in the show. Yeah, I don't believe he will, but that'd obviously be amazing.
The Rock.
Be amazing. I don't believe we're going to see him.
Okay, so it's not, but Big Dirt or not Big Dirt if we do.
I'm going not Big Dirt because I don't believe either of those are happening.
Got it. Okay, all right. Cena.
Yeah, I'm going Big Dirt because I think it's possible.
Okay. All right, those are the only legends. All right. Couple guys been injured or out for one reason or another. Okay, let's see. Edge.
Yeah, that'd be Big Dirt. I think we're going to see Edge. I think we're going to see Beth Phoenix too. Yep.
Okay. Robert Roode.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that yesterday. I think he's definitely going to be in it. So I'm going big.
Yeah, I read some rumors a while back that he's been around. So
Yeah.
I thought he was coming back a while ago. So this would be
Let's go
the
right
spot.
back. Let's go back to being glorious. Let's do it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dirty dog though. So,
let's go back to being glorious.
Ciampa.
Yeah, that'd be big dirt. I hope he's healthy.
Surgery on his labrum, hip labrum surgery in October. Now I will say, I had hip labrum surgery once, and that was back before Ciampa, and I'm not as good an athlete. So Ciampa, it's time. Riddle.
I'm going not big dirt. I don't think we're going to see him.
I don't know. Rick. Boogs.
I'm going not big dirt. I don't think we're going to see him.
All right. Randy Orton.
I'm going not big dirt. I don't think we're going to see him.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him either, unfortunately, because there's a lot of storylines we could tie in there, but it doesn't sound like he's close. But you never know. WWE, they're swerving people left and right. All right. The celebrity trio of all celebrity trios. Pat McAfee.
Not big dirt. We will not see him.
Logan Paul.
Big dirt. I think we'll get Logan Paul. I do.
Wow, he's ready because he's hurt.
Big.
He's still coming. He's still recovering.
He's one of the all-time greats.
And of course, Baboni.
I'm going no because I feel like he's like in the middle of like doing like tour stuff or like he's about to embark on a massive tour. So I'm going no.
Now, Baboni and Logan Paul were both in the WWE 2K23 commercial that got released. If that means anything. And so
they were both big stars this past year, you know?
And then a few guys, one who we've seen on, this one, I know you're going to say big dirt, but I don't know if it's because you don't think he's going to be there. Gable Steveson.
I'm going not big dirt.
Okay. And I got three guys who
tired of hearing about Gable Steveson. Been hearing about him for like 16 years.
And I got three more guys that I think there's been rumors, like, are they going to come back? Are they not? What's their deal? Eric Young. If he, he's got to come back from the dead.
Yeah, I'm going not big dirt. That doesn't. I mean, look, he's a fine enough wrestler, but like that's not getting anyone excited. So I'm going not big dirt.
Here's one that I don't think a lot of people are even considering because he may actually still be under contract with AEW. Andrade.
Oh, I'm going big dirt. I could see that. I can see it.
Yeah, he's had some interesting tweets, and he hasn't been there in a long time. And Charlotte and the whole thing. Okay, and then of course Matt Cardona.
I'm going big dirt. I can see it. Yep.
Okay. And bonus, just because I've been wondering for such a long time where he is, Commander Aziz.
I'm going not big dirt. I put no thought into him, but I'm going to go not big dirt.
I think about him all the time. What?
Avocado.
Okay. All right. So women's.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix. I think I know your answer.
Yep. Big dirt. I think she's going to eliminate Rhea Ripley.
And on that end, I put Lita / Trish because there's always a chance that one of them is going to be in it. I feel like.
Yeah, I'll go big dirt. I could see Lita being in it.
Now, another shout out to What Culture because I was reading some of their stuff and watching some of their videos. Another legend they mentioned was Sable.
Oh, I'm going not big dirt. No chance.
Well, and the reason they said was because she might get announced for Hall of Fame. This would be a good way to bring her back in, type of thing. But anyways,
I'm going no chance. And matter of fact, the last time I saw her, it was a while ago. It wasn't looking so great.
All right, yeah. Naomi.
I'm going big dirt because I could see her being in it, but Naomi does very little for me.
Okay, Chelsea Green.
Big dirt. Yeah, I like Chelsea Green.
Dewdrop.
I'm going big dirt. I'm a fan of Dewdrop. Like,
someone's got to be in the Rumble.
Apparently, she's been gone because there are visa issues. That's what's going on. Yeah,
okay.
She can't be working in the country right now. So I hope they figure that out. And I'm a fan of Dewdrop, man. She's a great wrestler.
Okay.
And I'd like her to be Piper Niven again, but I don't have control of that.
Yeah, Carmella.
I'm going big dirt. Like, where you at, Carmella? Let's go.
Okay. Who else? So I'm thinking, I feel like there's going to be at least 2 NXT women's wrestlers, if not more, because there's so many spaces. So the 2 I have on here are Cora Jade.
I'm going to go not big dirt. I do not believe we'll see her.
Sol Ruka.
I'm going also not big dirt.
But who no one cares about, but she's good for a moment.
Yeah, but nobody knows who she is yet. She's been around for a minute, So
you never know.
I mean, there are other girls. Like I hope the girls from Toxic Attraction are in the Royal Rumble. Let's go.
Yeah.
They got,
but they have a big thing going on. They have a big match coming up.
Yep.
For the title.
Yep.
All right, my last two actually. Summer Rae, who I've heard has been backstage a lot lately, or has been backstage lately.
I'll go Big Dirt. I could see her being in it. Yeah.
And then my last one, who I actually is my sleeper to win the whole thing, Nia Jax.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go not Big Dirt because I would like to see her back because she's very easy to hate, but I don't believe that that's happening.
But if she does come back, she might be winning the whole thing.
I want her to come back. I want the payoff from her busting up Becky Lynch. We never got it.
Yeah. That's it. That's my list. The women's list is shorter, even though we have so many. I actually wrote down 23 women that I think will fill out the last 23 spots.
That's a good job, though. Let me run through these for you before we get to our actual Rumble winners. Roman versus KO. You give KO any chance taking that belt off of him. We know that Sami Zayn, he's got a final test in some fashion. I don't know what that means. Do you believe KO can take the belt from him?
No.
Okay.
No, I just don't. So. I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think he's taking it off him right now. And so I'm gonna be rooting hard. I hope he does, but I don't think it's happening. Bianca, Alexa Bliss, can Bliss take the belt off of her? It feels like we're gonna get the culmination of what's going on with her and Bray Wyatt, right?
I don't know. I think she can. I think she definitely can take the belt off of her. But there's so much up in the air with what's going on with the Bray stuff. Like half of this card is Bray Wyatt related. I don't know.
I don't think Bianca loses. She's super marketable. You got to have her carry one of those belts into WrestleMania. And the second part that I would say is Alexa's story right now is not her winning a championship. It's what's going on with Bray Wyatt. So she is not leading with that championship.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt, LA Knight. LA Knight has absolutely no chance in whatever this match is. But it's going to be kooky. I think we could all agree, right?
Yeah. Bray's going to destroy him. I mean, at some point, I don't know what the match is, so I don't know when or how.
And you got to figure Uncle Howdy's involved in some fashion. Like, let's get to it already, right?
Somebody that we all might think is
Did
Uncle
you see
Howdy.
Their father? Did you see the great Erwin R. Shyster?
Oh, my God. How did I...
In the poker game on Monday.
How did I forget to talk about poker being back? The through line of Raw 30 was poker. It's what connected the whole show.
Generation. I like the younger audience watching Erwin R. Shyster collecting the money, and they don't have a clue who that guy is.
It's man. Oh, the other thing we forgot about Raw 30 before we move on. We're gonna have a 6-man tag team match, playa. Teddy Long. That was a great moment too.
And your opponent tonight is going to be The Undertaker.
That was a great moment. Bray's going to win this match. It just wouldn't make sense for him not to.
It's just a matter of what they're going to do within the confines of the match.
Well, whatever. Like, I think probably most people are more excited to see what the match is.
Yeah. So those are the only matches right now, and then we got the two huge ones. Let's do it, man. Official Women's Royal Rumble winner. Come on,
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I got Becky Lynch, man. I already told you, I've been on it for a few weeks. I think Rhea gets eliminated somewhere in the middle there by Beth Phoenix. I think Becky versus Charlotte's the moneymaker for WrestleMania. I think you got to go Becky and Charlotte. I think Becky wins.
But so here's why I don't disagree. I think that is the.
And by the way, if I could tell you, the odds-on favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble is Rhea Ripley at -115. Number 2 is Becky Lynch plus 250.
Yeah. Well, and here's why Rhea makes more sense to me to win the Rumble than Becky, even though Becky winning would make sense. Becky doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to main event against Charlotte.
That's right.
And not that Rhea does either, but as we've talked about, like Rhea has not done anything outside of Judgment Day. So they got to do something if they're going to have her in a high level match like her versus Bianca.
I think her next thing is Beth Phoenix. I think that's what's happened. If that's what it is.
Yeah, but couldn't hypothetically
they have to close the door on that. They have to. Sure,
but couldn't Beth Phoenix come out and Rhea Ripley eliminate Beth Phoenix?
Yeah.
And that continues I guess. Yeah. I don't see a scenario if Bianca is taking that title to Mania. I don't see a scenario where it's not against Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so
Who
much
else?
that can happen. I don't know.
I
There's
know.
so much that can
I
happen.
know. Is there a chance? Okay, I'll ask you. I mean, I obviously said Nia Jax is my sleeper.
Nia Jax, by the way, nowhere on these match odds.
Is there anyone else? Right? We still don't know. We don't
Any
even
other
know
women that could win it?
By the way, just
Bailey could win it. Bailey could.
Just for reference, as of this recording, Wednesday night, January 25th, Liv Morgan, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma have been announced. That's it.
Think Emma can win?
Yeah.
Bailey could win.
Something.
Bailey could win. And Bailey's actually third with the odds at plus 500. Bailey could win. Could. Yeah. What about the men's? Let's do it, man. Come on.
Man, this one's just continues to get harder for me. Because particularly because some of the guys that we think have a chance to win haven't been announced. But I mean, I guess I gotta, man, I don't know. You go. I gotta think. You go.
I think this is a hard one, but I'm sticking with what I felt last week. I'm sticking with Sami Zayn. I think the momentum is just so enormous, and like, why not just go with what's going to be the most entertaining thing, the thing that your fan base so wants, which is let's get to Sami versus Roman. All right. And Sami Zayn, you could do so much with the story in the bloodline. If Sami, hey, what are you going to do? Like, Roman's got both titles. You're not going to challenge him. Like, there's so much meat on that bone. I think Sami Zayn is winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, the more that it unfolds, it feels that way.
He's number two. He's number two in the betting odds at plus 200. Sami Zayn
behind Cody, right?
Yes. Cody Rhodes is minus 160. Heavy favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, but
The Rock is number three, by the way. The Rock is third at plus 350.
I'm going to go with Sami Zayn, but I don't know.
Dude, if Sami Zayn wins, that place is going to go apeshit.
Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. Elimination Chambers in Montreal. So Sami Zayn doesn't necessarily have to win the Royal Rumble for something massive to happen to get him to a Mania moment. Because clearly something big is going to happen at Elimination Chamber in Sami Zayn's hometown.
And remember the last time that they were there. Oh, my God. What a massive ovation for Sami Zayn.
Either a match with him and maybe Roman. Because we don't know who Roman, because Roman's gonna have a match in that at Elimination Chamber, right? Or he's gonna be in the chamber. Maybe it's for the match. I don't know. You know what I mean? But
I mean, can we get Sami versus KO in Montreal, and the winner of that gets Roman
on one of the nights, right? Well, and I think the other thing we have to keep in mind too is that it seems like there's a strong chance Roman fights both nights.
He should.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm going to go with Sami, but every time it seems like we know what's going on with the bloodline, we don't know, right? And that seems
such a good show.
Right now, it seems like Sami Zayn is the one.
It's good, but I don't know. Good.
By the way, I'm just going to run this down. Here are the guys that are announced for the Rumble. Kofi, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Theory, Rollins, who is a sleeper. He's a sleeper. Lashley.
He did say recently, I feel like headlining WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
say that.
Lashley.
He wants to main event it.
Yeah, he wants. Of course, I mean, he wants it.
Wants to.
That's where. You got to start with wanting it.
Gotta want it, man.
If you don't want it, then what are you doing?
Got all these open spots. A lot of people don't want it.
Yeah. Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody, Omos, Sheamus, McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and Karrion Kross. And here is my official prediction for the remaining 15 participants. Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, Chad Gable, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, Carl Anderson, Butch, Matt Cardona, Andrade, Bad Bunny, Von Wagner from NXT.
Wow.
Shane McMahon and Mick Foley.
His last two are absurd.
I'm just, hey, listen. As I was putting that list together, I was like, there's going to be a legend in the match. There's going to be.
Mick Foley can't get over the top rope. There's no way.
You haven't seen, I think Mick Foley has been doing DDP yoga.
Oh, okay. That's possible. All right.
I mean, I don't know recently, but I saw something where he was out. Okay. But Shane's I feel like Shane's more of a long shot at this point than Mick Foley. A lot of people asking Mick Foley on social media, why weren't you at Raw 30? Why weren't you at Raw 30? Mick Foley with this whole long message. I got this. I'm busy. I got to do all these things. And I got family. That's the swerve.
Playing coy.
That's the swerve. Just like Rock saying, I can't be in shape in time for WrestleMania.
Yeah, Rock can't be in shape. Every day he's posting a video. He looks like the Incredible Hulk.
Why do you have what do you have the Iron Paradise for if you're not in shape for WrestleMania?
Not in shape. Kidding me. Never heard
too many cheat days. Too many cheat days.
Not in shape.
By the way, Von Wagner, I know that was random, but that's a big boy.
You didn't have Braun Breaker, did you? Did you mention?
I didn't have Braun Breaker. I didn't have Braun Breaker.
All right.
I think we're going to see more NXT action in the women's Rumble than the men's.
Okay. All right.
I think. Braun, the stuff that they're doing with Braun and Grayson Waller with the whole fight at the Performance Center.
It's good, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
They got too much good stuff going on over there. I don't think Braun is going to be.
Right.
If it's going to be an NXT person, it's going to be a random, and you always need a big body, right? So everyone can rest while they're in the corner trying to get them out.
Well, it's Omos. Omos is that
right.
guy.
Well, you can't have too many big bodies.
Do you think Omos is going to get eliminated by 10 guys trying to flip him over the rope?
Or Braun Strowman's just going to scream in his face.
A good old Haas fight between.
I have red pants. They're tight.
This is going to be a great weekend, man. And then we really begin the march. Like we're gonna have a clearer after this Saturday. We're gonna have a clearer picture of what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be. That's awesome.
What if we don't?
What if we don't?
What if in Triple H's WWE, maybe he really makes you wait it out?
What if we don't? But there's a good chance we will. Excellent job, Joey. Say goodbye to all your legion of fans. Go ahead.
I want to actually give a shout out because we're not going to get to talk about AEW this week.
Right.
We're recording on Wednesday. I'm actually going to just go sit down and watch AEW right after this. But shout out to whoever at Warner Media decided to get shit right. Okay. Just shout out to that person, whoever was like, oh my God, I'm going to listen to the people who are all furious that we didn't allow a tribute to Jay Briscoe, for not only allowing them to do a tribute to Jay Briscoe tonight, but allowing Mark Briscoe to have a match against Jay Lethal on Dynamite. It should have been done last week, but whatever. I can't believe Mark Briscoe's wrestling that this soon. It's amazing to me. But shout out to AEW for being persistent with it. Shout out to them for allowing it. It's a week too late, in my opinion, but hey, better late than never. It's awesome. I'm just happy they're doing it and allowing it.
Good. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
And thanks to all the fans.
There you go. All right, excellent job, Joey. We'll talk to everybody this weekend. Okay, we're gonna have an immediate reaction show to this weekend's Royal Rumble. So I hope everybody enjoys the show. We'll talk to you then. See ya.